Hey y'all, we're reviewing the part one of the season 10 Southern Charm
Is
reunion.
it three parts? I think it
I would
is.
assume so.
Yeah, I would assume so also. I'm going to tell you, I want to start out by telling everybody I take notes every episode. I took no notes this episode. I don't even know if we need notes to tell you the
Venita did.
truth.
Let me grab my phone. Let me grab my phone. Let me
Oh,
grab my phone. Venita's dress was beautiful.
gorgeous, beautiful. I think one of the nicest reunion openings I've ever seen
Oh, with
when they
Madison.
all came out and when Madison came out and none of them knew she was pregnant. You saw I wish she wore something brighter though. Like I think it would have stuck out even more.
The
Um,
joy that I noticed was Andy specifically.
yeah,
And it just is
Venita was
because he
over
has
the
the two
top.
kids. Because he
Yeah.
has two kids, I just feel like he's in that kind of mindset where it
Yes.
just like makes him
Yeah.
super emotional.
Craig
And
could have really cared less.
Austin.
Austin was genuinely happy for her.
Anyone that wants to like question Austin and Madison's friendship needs to like watch the past two seasons because they've both grown up and they've realized how much they've been through together.
Yeah.
And they are a perfect example of what people that have been through hard times, that how you can turn a corner with someone and you can
That
really have
you hated. I
yes.
mean, like you loved and then hated.
Yeah, and now love
Yeah.
again because you have this genuine mutual respect and like it
Hmm.
just was like very nice. And I just again I loved how Madison said to, "Oh, you thought I was supporting you. I didn't give a shit." Like Craig, that was funny.
Yes. Craig was just like, oh, because it wasn't about him. I'm sorry. This is my observation of Craig.
Yeah,
Shep,
though he did make a good point about Leva speaking more at the reunion than she had all season.
yes.
And
No,
what
no,
I
no.
would
I'm
have said
talking
if I
about
was Leva,
Madison right now. I'm talking about
oh,
Madison's
oh,
grand
oh.
reveal. Okay. I just want to, that Venita was genuinely happy. Rodrigo couldn't have
That's because her
cared.
friendship with Madison has suffered because of JT. I think it was all performative.
Oh, interesting.
No,
Austin was and Venita were the most genuinely happy for her. Shep was just like, yeah, okay. The other women,
side hug.
I didn't see any great like congratulations
They
from
could have cut out a
Sally
hug.
or
They could have cut out
Taylor,
other
and
stuff.
I was a little
They
disappointed
could
in
have
that
cut
and
that out.
Sally. Well,
They
I'm
could
just
have cut that
saying,
out.
as a woman, anytime a woman tells me, I'm just telling you that she's having a baby, especially someone whose husband had been through cancer and she's wanted this,
We
I
don't
would
know what
be,
they did.
oh, I'm so
We
happy.
don't know what
Even
they
Leva
did.
was a little bit,
We don't
whatever.
know what they did, what they cut out. We have no idea.
All right. So, um, this reunion.
Venita, you came to play, honey.
She did. She's serious. And
And
I
I
don't
will
know who
say,
I believe right now, to
no, no,
tell
no.
you the truth.
JT's admitted it. I think that JT, well, you and I
But
talked about
JT
this.
has screenshots
It is
and
a
timeline.
showman's. It is like, it is what happens when two musical theater people, one that has a long-term relationship. Oh, my preaching to the world right now. They have a little bit of time together, out of sight, out of mind. His girlfriend clearly didn't want to be on the show. He didn't want to bring her on. And he thought that
Venita's
he
there and
could,
it makes a little storyline.
yep. And also, not even just that. The cameras go down at some point. Maybe he just wanted a little bit of comfort. Everyone else was being an asshole to him.
Everyone was being,
And
but she
yeah,
genuinely likes him.
she did. She fell for
Yeah.
him. It's
Yeah.
very similar to Kyle and Morgan. Venita's Morgan.
Oh,
Kyle's
okay.
JT. Kyle
Uh,
needed support. Morgan read it as you have feelings for me.
oh, yeah, you're
Then
right.
JT needed support. Venita read it as you have feelings for me. It was self-serving to Kyle. It was self-serving to JT. And there were people that then fell victims to it, and not because of any malintent, but because of the fact that they just were operating out of a sense of convenience and the other person was unaware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm gonna say the whole cast, they say hi, how you doing, blah 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 when they come out, and they did make a point. A lot of reunions, they have them sitting there when it starts. This they specifically showed each one coming out one at a time. Now they might have done that so Madison had her great reveal because it was good. It was good TV, because they normally don't do that with the reunion. They all sit there and they start.
Totally.
So that was a little odd. I don't know why they did it. I do think this is coming back, and I
Oh yeah,
didn't earlier in the
we didn't. First
season.
half we didn't.
Yeah, I didn't, and I do think it is coming back. I'm not sure why. I think because Andy, if anybody watch What Happens Live, that was more interesting almost than the reunion. I hate to say it, but Andy does like these guys.
If I was Shep, I would take one for the team and start dating Molly, even if it just meant to solidify in a season 11.
No, no, and I don't want to see Shep use anybody else.
No, you're right.
Shep needs to get his act together, though.
No, he's gotten it together though. I was happy that
Well, more
Andy,
together. He
yeah,
needs to find a 32-year-old woman
or
and
just be
settle
by
down,
alone, or just be alone.
or just decide to be alone.
Yeah, or just not even decide, just be alone right now. Be present in the moment. Be alone. You're not ready for
Maybe
someone.
he needs to be Whitney. And just, I mean,
No,
Whitney, no, no,
no.
no, 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 no. Let me rephrase that. B, Whitney's not getting married. He's
But
never
he
having
wants to. He
kids.
wants to be with the chick. He would love it.
Shep or Whitney?
Whitney.
No, I don't think
He's so
Whitney.
creepy. You think he can keep a girl? You think that he
Yes,
really
I
doesn't
do.
want one?
Yes, I do. I think he's had a lot of girls, and I think
I think he can't keep one.
no, I see it as no, I don't. I don't think he wants one. I think he likes his Whitney life. Because you know who his real love is?
Who?
His mother. And that's part of that whole psychological ness of Whitney. Because they're both
Okay.
real narcissists. I mean, I love Miss Pat. I think she's funny. But can you imagine growing up with that?
Who's the gay guy Miss Pat does the confessional or the after show with? What's his name?
Ryan?
Ryan.
Yeah.
I give Ryan the most amount of credit. He didn't play with Venita and Leva. They haven't talked in months after that. He was like, I just said what the barber said. Don't you dare come after me. And
Yeah.
I believe that JT said exactly what Ryan said. And I don't believe he meant it as maybe it came off. And again, I think that JT felt like he was in a safe space. You know this.
Yeah, you go to
You
get your
come
hair
from a
done.
very
You
hairdressing
it's like going to
family.
the confessional.
Yes. And you know that to be true, that there are things that you tell your hairstylist that you would never tell you, even your therapist.
Right. And you're better off telling your hairdresser than your best friend your
Exactly.
secrets
So the
because they hear
reality is,
secrets all day. It's kind of like confession. Priest will you'll say to priest, ask a priest sometime. Oh, what's it like confession? They'll say, oh, by the time you're there for 2 or 3 hours hearing confessions, you don't even remember any of it. It's just like amnesia. You heard all these sins, they all blend one to the other. And that's kind of how I feel about
I
them.
want to know why Ryan hasn't brought the barber on and been like, what did you tell me? And what did you like? Because I think the barber is the one that's lying.
The
If
missing
someone's
link.
lying, or JT is, obviously.
Do you wish they'd brought out Sienna?
Oh, yeah.
I do too. Why didn't they do that? They do that on 90 Day Fiance. They
It was,
always bring the
Molly
person
was
out.
awesome. Molly was like, I was so nervous, but I was also really excited. Like,
I wish that they had brought her out. Did Sally have her boobs done or not? I couldn't tell. Did you notice?
I couldn't really tell, but I will
I
say
couldn't
that like
either.
Sally kind of put her foot in her mouth because she did. It wasn't as bad as what Taylor said. Like Taylor got herself involved. I think Taylor's kind of stupid because if I was Taylor, I'd be like, oh yeah, I would normally tell Austin that that was being said, but it has to do with Sally, so I'm not going to because she told me not to. Like I would have been smart about it, knowing that it would come back. But the reality is that like I don't think Austin meant anything by it. The same way, but I do believe that Madison and um what's his name calling JT. I believe JT that it went down the way it did. And if they didn't
Okay.
mean it that way, then they should clarify and say, sorry that you took it that way. That
Mm-hmm.
is how it went down, but that was not the intent. I was drunk, so I
Right.
don't really fully remember his tone exactly, but I can tell you this, like it's not the reality. So if you took it that way, we're really sorry. We understand that like that could have been the case, but it wasn't.
Now, why do you think they really all hate JT so much?
I think it's just because of the fact that these established casts,
Yeah.
they want people to come on these shows slowly.
Oh,
They
and
don't
he
want
came
them to
on
step on. And he came on being
like
like, I'm just gonna
Rodrigo.
be,
Like he was there last year and then he's on this year, but he's still nothing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
And
has
I
no
think, well, I
influence
think
on
it's
the
hard to
show.
come into the show and be good, like these shows, because I think that JT shows you if you come on fast
Too
and dropping
fast.
bombs,
Hmm.
this is what happens to you. And then if you come on too slow, look at Rodrigo.
Yeah, like nothing. He's a
Exactly.
no
So it's like,
burger.
I don't think that, like, if I was, and the only thing Ryan could have had a little more relevance this year if maybe when Venita and Leva were sitting him down, I would have gotten up and made a whole show out of the whole thing.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
I
yeah,
would have
yeah.
called
For
the barber
TV.
myself. I would have
Hmm.
pulled out and been like, oh, okay, then let's play this game. Two can play this game. Barber. Let me see. And I'd call and I'd like call my barber and be like, hey, just so you know, JT's telling people that that he never said that to you, but you told me that.
Hmm.
And then I would wait and I'd let the barber lie. And then on the phone with the barber, I'd say, okay, so now that you're lying, just so you know, my goal now is to ruin your business. Have a nice life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I will
Well,
tell everyone not to go to you. I will say he is
because
not
you're a big
trustworthy
mouth.
because you're a
Yeah.
big mouth and you like to stir the pot, not because you don't cut good hair.
Or it could also be that Ryan went into the barber and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing this show." And he was like, "Oh, JT was here. He's doing that show too." And he was talking about some black girl because he doesn't know her name or anything like that too.
Or yeah, like the barber also could have
I
been like,
mean,
"Oh yeah,
saying
JT's a
some,
mess. JT's
yeah,
a mess. He's got a girlfriend. He says that he's kind of like dating some
yeah,
black
and
girl
then
on
he's
the
got
show
some black
too."
girl. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see where he
What if
would
the barber
say,
said some black girl? Like, what if the barber added in some
yeah, because he
because the
doesn't know
barber
the
forgot the
name.
name?
Yes, that's what I think happened.
And
I
then it came
think,
off that JT said some black girl. Because why would you say some black girl Venita? No, that's not some. That's Venita, the black girl.
right. Yeah.
How many
I'm,
Venitas live in Charleston that are black? I don't think many.
yeah, we don't know.
I mean, I don't think so though. I'm just saying, like,
I don't think he's racist though. So I don't like the
not at
racial
all.
overtone of
Not
it
at
at all.
all. I
And
think
I
that
thought he was being very much a gentleman saying, I think the world of her. I think she's lovely.
totally. And I think the barber has ever like again, we have to remember like that like the times we're living in this like world. Like we watch the show. We know her name's Venita. So does everyone else. The barber
Hmm.
doesn't know. He
He
may have
doesn't know.
forgot.
Right. Totally.
It could have
No,
also been that JT's like, and then there's this girl Venita, like, look, and showed a
yeah.
picture. And then the
Yeah.
guy saw that she was black,
And
forgot
he
that her
doesn't
name was
remember her
Venita.
name. Of course,
Yeah,
that happens all the time. I don't remember people's name.
totally. And so it'd
Yeah.
just be nice if the barber was like, oh yeah, you weren't saying it in a negative way. And when I told Ryan, like, I forgot her name, so I just said there was some black girl. Like I didn't say it in a bad way either, but you
Right.
say some black girl. And then if someone wants to get mad at the barber, he should be like, listen, I'm not on the show. I just was doing hair. The one person
Yeah.
told me a story, then the other one had a like the other one had to do with the story, and I tried to repeat it as best I could. Sorry, don't tell your stories to barbers if you want them to come out so perfect.
Yeah, well, that's sort of the truth. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was all a bunch of, even I didn't think they got into Shep enough with Sienna.
Well, they will. There's two more parts.
Yeah, I know, but like I want them to talk about Shep and Sienna and then not bring it up again the next two episodes. I
Oh
wish they
yeah.
could do that. I want to talk about Venita and JT, and then I don't want to hear about it for the
I
next
would
two
love if
episodes.
Paige comes on, and that's a surprise.
Well, I can't see it happening.
No, I can't either.
Are you watching?
Summer House?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch it. I
Now,
watch it.
was it bad what she said about him this week on the show?
It wasn't bad. What he said is bad.
Oh,
Like he genuinely said, like, this can't be our life.
well, it can't be.
What do you mean it can't be?
Was it in reference to them living in different towns and
Her
they're
being on tour and being busy.
I think Craig didn't like that she was became
But the
super
reality is,
successful.
Paige said in her confessionals, she told Craig that he can come to every single tour stop if he wants to. He can come at any time he wants.
No, I
This
don't think
isn't
it's
like,
about that.
I just think the reality is
I
this.
think he was threatened by her success
Yes,
and that she was making probably more money than him.
totally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he was threatened. I think he was the star and she was a girl on a show
Yeah, like
that
Summer House was not as popular as
as
Southern Charm for
especially
years, and
right.
now it's more popular.
Yes,
And the reason why it's more popular
is
is
because of
because of
Paige.
Paige DeSorbo.
Right. And I think he was threatened by that. That's what I think the real problem was. And she's realizing, like, don't be jealous of me, buddy. I've been there to support you. But I did agree with Shep when he was like, it would have been nice if she came around a little bit.
But
She
it's not
should
her
have.
show.
I understand that, but I got his
He doesn't come that
point.
much for Summer House.
But I got his Shep's point that it would have been nice if she showed up for something.
It'd be nice if Shep made an effort to get to know Paige, too.
I'm just saying,
Because the people on Summer House don't complain that they don't know Craig. They all see Craig off camera. They
yeah,
all thought, like,
because
because they're
he's
actually
around.
friends.
Right.
Like Paige is actually friends with the girls on Summer House and they hang out. So when Craig would come to New York, he would hang out with like
Well,
Kyle
he
because
was
he's
on that
married to
show. Right.
Amanda and
Right.
like but he even this season, Craig's only come this past episode on Summer House was the only time he's come. He probably doesn't come much more. I think he may I don't even think he comes again. I think they meet
Oh,
up in New York or something, and that's it. So the reality is that I think that there's double standards here. I think that Paige also should say, well, wait a minute. When we first started dating for at least the first year, you were a much bigger star than I was.
much bigger. Yeah, but I do think he's threatened by this.
Okay, but she wasn't threatened by him when they first started dating.
It's not a male. It's a guy thing. It's an ego.
Totally.
Yeah, it's totally his
And it's
ego.
not just that she's more popular on her show. She
She's more
legitimately is a different
Amazon.
celebrity.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
She's hosting like awards, red carpets, like her co-host on her stupid talk show, as Shep would say, is has her own Netflix comedy special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's
No.
crazy.
Yeah, I get the whole thing. I think he's very threatened by her success.
And the fact that I didn't like how Austin did it. See, this is the thing that I think sometimes is stupid. Austin, you're not stupid, okay? You know that when Shep says in the after show, "Oh, the little stupid talk show." If I was Austin, I would have been like, "Okay, wait a minute. You don't need to like Paige, but let's not be
Right.
fools here." Giggly
It's
Squad is like a massively popular podcast,
podcast.
and
Right. And
as
she's
someone who
making a
has a
lot of money.
podcast,
Yes.
her podcast makes 4, 5, 6 times as much as Craig's and I's does, and like
Yeah.
we put just as much time into it.
Right.
So
Same
like
amount. Yeah. So
imagine. And she's getting business deal left and right. And let's talk about this because we don't that often. In the influencer world, in like the pay for play social media world, women have a lot more opportunities than men because there's so many products from beauty and health and hair and all that. And it's why like I always
without a
say
doubt. Yeah.
all the
Sorry.
time. It's why like women athletes, like especially on like the basketball side, like they make more money in NIL most of the time than the men's because they can be do influencer deals for like
Sure.
certain products that men can't do. And
Yeah.
also in like the basketball world where it's predominantly a lot of black women, there's also products that like they can endorse that white women can't because it's made for their hair or made for
Yeah,
their
of
skin or
course.
something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like
Women
there's
will
this
just have to look at
constant
Kathy Hilton. You'll
well,
see how
there's this
much product
constant, I
they
think,
buy.
rivalry there, whereas like some of these new ways of making money and new ways of commercializing a reality star have actually only like they're actually like more in place to help women than men. So it's like naturally because of that, like Paige is gonna get some of these brand deals, she's gonna get some of these things. Like whereas like you see on Summer House, for example, like Lindsay Hubbard gets all these different makeup and beauty things, and Carl Radke, her ex-fiance, is getting the goldfish pay for play. Oh, let me eat some goldfish on my post. You know, like so it happens and it that's
Yeah.
not always the case. So
No, no. Well, you know what? Women are bigger influences, anyways. Like you
yes.
said,
And
I mean, Paige is
influencers is
a
also
phenomenon on into herself. Right.
influencers are also like people forget sometimes that there's a level of like how can you also elevate the brand? It's not just about how popular you are. I've been talking to people about this with NIL and college sports. Sometimes the college athlete who's like the best one, who has like the most
Yeah.
followers and all that, they may have the highest fee, but they're not the best one for you to hire to do the NIL deal. Because then
Yeah.
there's others
Of
that might be
course.
that sixth person that's coming off the bench, but they might have this vivacious personality and this big like or this huge connection to the product, and they might be
Right.
willing to
Right.
learn about the product, talk about the product. Yet the star is just going to be like, "Bye, L'Oreal."
Yeah.
Whereas
Like
this
that
person might be
simple.
like, I need this because it does this and does that, and it does this and it does that. Like, that's one of the reasons why people hated Jill Zarin so much for so many years, was because Jill Zarin knew how to utilize platforms to
Oh,
be able
yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
plug things and all that. And she just looked kind of more like a brand whore because she was just really good at
Because
plugging
she
her
was.
brands.
Yeah. 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 Oh, she's a natural saleswoman.
Yes.
Yeah. She's a
She's
natural.
genius in
Yeah.
that space.
Yeah. And I would say Pages to a degree, it could be a New Yorker thing also.
Yes.
Yeah, without a
Yes.
doubt. Yeah. I don't know. We got two more of these.
Yeah.
I want to say the guys were on Watch What Happens Live, and they're
They
far
love
more
each other.
interesting. They do love each other. It's genuine respect for each other. Examples of, like you said last week, guys can like punch each other in the face and go get a beer. Well, women can just be nasty to each other and they'll never talk to each other again.
I don't like I will say that I did like how Taylor didn't get super mad at Shep when he said when they brought up the comparing Taylor to
Yeah, it
Sienna
was,
thing.
yeah,
No, because Shep clearly he must have apologized to Taylor when that aired.
perhaps.
And no, he said that. He goes, "I
Yeah.
apologize to Taylor and
Right. I
once
know
again,
that.
I'm
I,
really
I don't know if
sorry."
it happened when
And
it happened.
Taylor,
Yeah.
instead of going backwards, Taylor goes,
No, she's
"Okay,
moving forward.
it's
Yeah.
okay."
Yeah, she's
And I
grown
also
up.
like how everyone
I
can't
don't
pronounce
think she's coming
Gaston.
back though. I
And
know
she
it's
goes,
Gaston.
"It's Gaston, like Beauty and
Yeah,
the Beast.
and
It's not
Beast.
hard."
It's not hard. I don't think Taylor's coming back. She
I
really
think that
has
they're
no
going to tell her
purpose.
that if she comes back, Gaston has to come on.
Okay, and I don't think he wants to.
No, exactly.
No, I don't think Taylor's coming
However, his
back.
mother came to watch what happens live when Taylor was on with her mom. Loved sitting there
Oh,
in that
oh,
in the spotlight seat with the mic on. So maybe Mama wants him to come on the show so she can have her 5 minutes.
maybe.
Who's your
I
mess?
don't know. Well, you know, Craig.
I was gonna say Leva.
Oh, Leva. Well, Leva, there's
Just
nothing to
because
Leva. I
Leva,
don't know why she's there.
she should just say, you know what, Craig? Yeah, you're right. I didn't say a lot this season, but that's because I have like really booming businesses with patrons in Charleston, and that's right. I have a hit show that I created. Thank you very much. Have a nice
Yeah.
day.
You know what's hard to, like when you say to me, who's your mess? And we saw Craig on Watch What Happens Live is a different Craig
Oh yeah.
that we had at the reunion. So my own thought process gets muddled in there, I'll be
Craig
honest
was
with you.
great on Watch What Happens Live. He was the most level-headed out of the three.
Yeah, yeah, he was. But
Now
because he's
Austin
in
too.
love right now because he's got a new girl.
Austin, you could tell Austin was like watching Craig when he was talking about the new girl of like, don't say her name. Like it was like he was kind of like his like publicist
Yeah, and
next
he
to him.
patted him
He
on the
patted him like, don't say it.
yeah.
Like good job. You said like it's like, and they really genuinely care about each other. They're not
I'm
there to cut
gonna
each other down.
they genuinely care about each other. However, Austin loves Craig more than Craig loves Austin
Yeah, but I think Craig has a problem loving people.
in general.
Yes.
I agree. All right,
Anywho,
part two
follow us,
next
like
week.
us, subscribe us,
We'll see you then.
never divide us. Bye.